17 degrees on the thermometer on the boardwalk in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And today's Sports World is at the Sands Hotel and Casino. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert, along with the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco, and hope you stay with us. Keep in mind, Super Bowl kickoff at about 20 minutes before 5 later on today. And by that time, the WBA junior welterweight title will be settled. And we have the class of the 80 Olympic trials. Johnny Bump City Bumphus, 21-0, 16 by knockout, going up against Lorenzo Garcia. He is 53-1, but only 7 knockouts on that record.
Yes, he claims he's a scientific fighter, and he is. However, he says if that's not working for him, he goes toe-to-toe, which could be a bad mistake with Bumphus. Bumphus can box, but he can also punch. All
right, we'll have boxing coming up in about 15 minutes, but right now, let's go to Greg Lewis in Trevigno, Italy, for the World Cup Bobsled Championship. Presented 8 professional boxers just getting their careers underway. They were called tomorrow's champions. They would have represented the U.S. in the 1980 Olympics had that dream not been shattered by the boycott. In this update, you'll see, as we did, that their successes and failures, both in and out of the ring, represent a microcosm of the pursuit of the American dream. One of tomorrow's champions was Davey Moore, a 22-year-old from the tough Morrisania section of the Bronx. With an impressive amateur record, promoters lusted after this welterweight. He won his first 8 professional bouts. Then he got a chance at the WBA junior middleweight crown. He stunned the boxing world when he knocked out the Japanese champion Tadashi Mihara for the title. He had 3 successful title defenses, among them a highly criticized trip to South Africa, where he knocked out Charlie Weir in the 5th round. Then he faced Roberto Duran. Moore claims he was thumbed in the eye in the 1st round. His left eye closed, but it looked more like Duran's crushing blows that finally stopped Moore. With a record of 12-1, Davey Moore is looking for a comeback. With 4 National Golden Gloves titles and an extraordinary amateur record, Bernard Taylor is still fighting and training in Knoxville, Tennessee. Curiously, not attracting major bouts, although he has a record of 22-0-1. Chris McDonald has been considered a slow developer, and you have to question his interest in boxing. He's posted a pro record of 8-1-1, took time out to return to college, but claims he's not done with the sport and will return to the ring the next few months. Tony TNT Tucker, a heavyweight, held the light heavyweight crowns of the 1979 World Cup and Pan Am Games. Tony is 19-0, undefeated in the ring, but he's been plagued by injuries. That cost him a year in the ring, but since November, he's scored 3 consecutive knockout victories and has been fighting regularly. Another heavyweight, Mitch Green, came from the meanest streets in New York City. He was a New York Golden Gloves winner 3 times. His record is 12-0-1, but against soft competition, and he's been a major disappointment. Alex Ramos was perhaps the most charismatic of tomorrow's champions. Time magazine devoted an essay to his rise from the ashes of the South Bronx to boxing. He was a 4-time Golden Gloves winner and won his first 15 pro bouts. Then he was upset by a journeyman, Ted Sanders, who ironically skipped out on a scheduled rematch. Ramos's loss was blamed on romantic entanglements, which supposedly sapped
as your fan.
In the red corner.
Back in Atlantic City, set for the introductions. Let's join Ed Darien in the ring.
39 1/4 pounds. This gentleman is ranked number 2 by the World Boxing Association, all the way from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Lorenzo Garcia. And his opponent in the blue corner, wearing the white trunks with the red and blue trim. He weighed in at an even 139 pounds. This young man is a native of Tacoma, Washington, and now residing in Clementon, New Jersey. He is ranked number 1 by the World Boxing Association and currently is champion of the United States Boxing Association. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Johnny Bump City Bumphus.
And the referee, Tony Perez, bringing the fighters together. Under WBA championship rules, the scoring on the 10-point must system, thus an even round would go 10-10. 3 judges handled the scoring. Carlos Berrical of Panama, Cesar Ramos of Puerto Rico, and Roji Kashiwagi of Japan. The referee, Tony Perez, does not take part in the scoring. 3 knockdown rule in effect. 3 knockdowns in a round. Fight is over. The bell cannot save the boxer except in the final round. Lorenzo Garcia, 27 years old. He's the South American lightweight champion. Turned pro in October of '77 at the age of 21. His biggest win last June upset countryman of Lano Sacco, who was then 3rd ranked by the WBC. And in a rematch in July, they fought to a draw, though Garcia put down Sacco in the 9th round. As we discussed earlier, Ferdy, Garcia not a big hitter, a counter puncher, but without a powerful punch.
His manager describes him as a counter puncher without a punch, which is pretty descriptive and depressing at the same time. Right now, what he's doing is maintaining an enormous distance between he and Johnny City Bumphus. Bumphus has been throwing a light jab out in the air that misses by about a foot. There's another 2 just then. And apparently, Lorenzo Garcia is satisfied just to try to frustrate Johnny Bumphus into his kind of fight. That's what he has announced. That's what he's told me before. We go out, we try to make him go crazy over the first 2 or 3 rounds, then I start to fight my fights.
Garcia calls himself a technician. And he was asked about that unimpressive knockout record, actually lack of a knockout record. He said Americans are too concerned about knockouts. He says the idea is to hit and not get hit. He points out he doesn't have the cauliflower ear or the broken up nose.
Never been cut, never been down. He's out of the mold of Willie Pastrana and the young Muhammad Ali, who just didn't like to get hit in his early part of his career.
And this first round looks like a walkthrough.
It's exactly down the game plan of Tito Lectorio, who's had 11 world champions. He's got all the patience in the world. It's 15 rounds. He knows he's got to frustrate Bumphus. He knows he's got to drive him crazy, and then he starts his kind of fight.
And among those 11 champions, Carlos Monzon, Hugo Coro, Victor Galindez, Tito Lectorio in the corner of Lorenzo Garcia. And this will certainly test the patience of Johnny Bumphus.
Along with the audience, who will not be standing for too much of this quiet before they start booing here in Atlantic City.
Johnny Bumphus does have 16 knockouts in his 21 professional fights, all victories. There's a nice combination by Garcia.
That's what he tries to do, just lull you to sleep. Then he comes in lightning fast. We just saw a summary of the way he fights.
And final seconds of a very quiet first round. Is round 2 for the WBA Junior Welterweight title, vacated by Aaron Pryor. I should refer to it as the alleged retirement of Pryor, because there are not too many who expect that he will remain in retirement.
Maybe we could call it the temporary retirement of Aaron Pryor.
A very slow-paced, opening round, and this one starting out looking like more of the same. Lorenzo Garcia on the right, and Johnny Bump City Bumphus is the southpaw. And he's a guy who has said in the past he doesn't look for the knockout because boxing is the art of landing more punches. His style is hit, not get hit, although he does have a knockout record. Bumphus very cool, very low-key, rarely shows a change of expression. All business in the ring, and just waiting it out against Garcia.
Title fight is 15 rounds, and sometimes it's 15 rounds of a chess game, and then it explodes. Remember, he had in his corner one of the best, brainiest men in boxing, Georgie Benton. Also Tommy Brooks, Ace Murata, Lou Duva, to motivate the fighter. Their plan to be patient, but then to close in and start a stinging jab going in the second and third. That's the Duva plan. He's not trying to put that in effect.
Garcia's only other fight in the United States back in October of '82 in McAfee, New Jersey, fought a 10-round draw against Forrest Winchester. Winchester, the half-brother of former champ Hilmer Kenty. And Garcia's last fight, October 14th, he won a 10-round decision. Bumphus' last fight back in September, a knockout, took Jose Angulo in the 10th round. And he has won his last 5 by knockout, including a rough and tumble adventure televised here on NBC against Michael Bradley. Bradley putting Bumphus down in the second round, but Bumphus eventually stopped Bradley in the 6th.
There is a man called Forrest Winchester?
Yes.
You're sure?
A great name for a sportscaster.
Or a Western hero. Bumphus not trying to cut the distance. They've exchanged a few punches, nothing meaningful just yet. Bumphus is trying to get between them. He's trying to cut that distance too shortly so he can punch in short punches like that.
And we approach 10 seconds remaining in the second round. All right, we'll be back with round 3 in a moment. Well, this fight is being televised back to South America, and fairly over our shoulder we can hear the constant patter, the blow-by-blow call of the broadcasters who are handling it for South America. Sounds like much more is going on.
Sounds like there's a great fight going on here. So far, I have Perez ahead 2 rounds to nothing, the referee. I haven't seen any fighting going on yet.
Along with the fight doctor, Bertie Pacheco, this is Marv Albert from Sands Hotel and Casino, Atlantic City, New Jersey. Round 3 for the WBA Junior Welterweight Championship. And Johnny Bump City Bumphus playing it very carefully against Lorenzo Garcia, a guy who looks to pick his spots. He has looked to stay away, strictly a counterpuncher, not noted for knockout power. In fact, he has as many knockouts as draws on his record. He's 53-1, 7 draws, 7 knockouts. But Bumphus just looking for the opportunity. And he got the left hand, a short left, in on Garcia.
Bumphus can change back and forth. He has trained both right-handed and left-handed for this fight. If he needs to, he'll go the other way. Lorenzo Garcia, on the other hand, has had just left-handed sparring partners. That's all he's been looking for, is a left-handed fight. Johnny now using his big height and that big leg spread to start to try to cut off the ring. He's spreading his legs more to try to cut off the ring, punching bunches when he gets in.
That's the most sustained action of the bout as we approach a minute left in this third round.
I think Bumphus is right on target with his plan that they laid out. Start cutting him off about the third round. He certainly started doing that. And in the corner, Benton said punch 3 and 4 times. He only punches twice when he comes in.
And the combination by Garcia. Combination by Bumphus. And Garcia looks to smile it off. Most effective barrage of this bout. As we come up on 10 seconds left, third round, rapid punching, and the referee, Tony Perez, putting a stop to it. And that'll do it for round 3.
Now, when you get close, just cut loose, hit anything. Hit his shoulders, arms, any damn thing. You just got to out-hustle this guy. Because he ain't going to do nothing. You understand? Maybe you got to make him over there, right?
George Benton mapping out the chess game in the corner of Johnny Bumphus.
I'd like to hear what's going on in the other corner, because I cannot imagine blowing the first 3 rounds of a title fight and that's starting to tell your fighter, hey, it's time to get started, pal.
And this is round 4. Johnny Bumphus, 23 years old, out of Tacoma, Washington, now living in Clementon, New Jersey. Spent much time in Nashville, Tennessee, where he worked for the Nashville Sheriff's Department and trained with the boxing program of Clint Jackson. Bumphus, the youngest of 7 children. He has 6 sisters. Record of 21-0. Oh, impressive combination by Bumphus.
Bumphus, since his program Tomorrow's Champion started, has been called the cream of the crop, and for a very good reason. He's a superb fighter, and he can punch, and as he proved with Bradley, he can get up off the canvas when he has to and go toe-to-toe with him.
He is lightning quick. Right jab, effective. Has the good hook. And now they're going at closer quarters. The only loss on the record of Lorenzo Garcia 6 years ago, knocked out in the 5th round by Pedro Gutierrez. But Garcia got his revenge by twice decisioning Gutierrez after that defeat.
Lorenzo Garcia, no question about it, is a cutie defensively.
Oh, and Bumphus was put down, surprised by Garcia. He was very cute. Lorenzo Garcia putting Johnny Bumphus down.
Now there's a shocker. There's a man that can't punch at all with one punch. Put down a man who's had a good, strong chin. Let's see what Bumphus comes back with.
Garcia with only 7 knockouts, but 5 of the 7 have come against southpaws.
Well, he certainly timed that punch perfectly, and Bumphus does not look right yet. His legs don't look like they're working properly yet.
That's time remaining in this 4th round. Johnny Bumphus, who was knocked out by Michael Bradley and then came back to stop Bradley in the 6th round, surprised by a man who supposedly does not have a punch. So what does that tell us about Johnny Bumphus?
What does that tell us about anticipating things in boxing?
Johnny Bumphus caught by Lorenzo Garcia in the 4th round.
You can see that was a flash punch, but you know, look at the legs of Bumphus. But look at Bumphus wobble. He's not in good shape.
And from the other angle, short right hand to the neck. And it caught Bumphus. As we move on to round 5. Over the first 2 rounds, much distance between these 2 fighters. Garcia was looking for the referee, Perez. He felt he was pushed and set up in the corner.
And hit low. There was a low blow there, and he just looked over. Look at the face. I think Garcia is, man, that's enough to scare you to death. Garcia's making a face at Johnny Bumphus. Bumphus wants to get it on. Low blow again, and again he looked at the referee, Garcia.
Johnny Bumphus with a 5-inch height advantage on Lorenzo Garcia. And his attention certainly caught by Garcia in the 4th round with that short right hand. Now this after Garcia looked to stay away over the first couple of rounds.
And whether you like this style of boxing or not, guys, you got to say, this guy can box defensively. Reminds me of Willie Pastrana, flicking, moving, driving you crazy, and then all of a sudden coming in with something meaningful, like he just did just then but didn't land.
Keep in mind, Johnny Bumphus was knocked down by a guy who has gone 41 straight fights since his last knockout. That was back in April of '79.
It's a crazy thing. Tito Lecturi told me, you know, he can punch, but he doesn't have to. And I said, I can't believe that at all. Nobody fights 10 rounds when they don't have to.
Well, we certainly saw an enormous upset last week with Don Lee and about that featured 6 knockdowns, stopping second-ranked Tony Simpson. And a surprise in the 4th round with Bumphus in this WBA Junior Welterweight Championship fight put down by Lorenzo Garcia.
I think this is a bigger surprise because you just can't figure Garcia to punch, whereas Don Lee had 19 wins and 19 knockouts. You figured he was a cannon ready to go off, but here's a guy that's just moving around looking like he's content to flick and not get aggressive at all, and all of a sudden he's got Bumphus down. What a big shocker. And right now holding his own this round.
Garcia continues to look to punch in flurries, and then he'll pause and go into the defensive shell. But has become more active the last 2 rounds, and again the rapid punches thrown by Bumphus. Bumphus not making contact, look good, but hit air.
I know it.
This is round 6. And Johnny Bumphus told between rounds, you're losing your height advantage. You're bending down to Garcia. It's a 5-inch advantage that Bumphus has. But George Benton and Lou Duva saying, hey, you're bending down. You're giving it away.
That's true. When you're that tall, you got to stand up there and pop the jab out. And now you're watching much of that jab has changed into a pop now. A piston-like pop instead of just good.
Well, low blow, says Tony Perez. So again, the warning.
Curiously, in between rounds, for a guy that uses his legs as much, Lorenzo Garcia remains standing. There's no stool. He has remained standing between each round. Tito Lecturi confident, tell him this is just what we want you to do. Move, and come in there when you have to.
Lorenzo Garcia from San Pedro, Buenos Aires, Argentina, South American lightweight champion, turned pro back in October of '77 at the age of 21. Not a big hitter. The reputation of Garcia, counter-puncher, does not have the powerful punch, but he did connect on Bumphus, a short right hand to the neck, and the 4th round put Bumphus down for only the 2nd time in his professional career. And again, the rapid punches thrown by Bumphus. Good right hand by Garcia.
Now that may cost him with the international referees because kidney punching is definitely against the rules. Johnny is punching to the sides, which is considered kidney punching. We must remember the international flavor. This is a World Boxing Association, and therefore we have world judges. They judge a fight differently than the state of New Jersey. Therefore, those punches could cost him.
And things beginning to heat up as Bumphus caught Garcia with a combination. Good left hand by Garcia. A lunging left by Garcia put Bumphus to the ropes.
You got 30, Johnny, you got 30.
No question at what Lorenzo Garcia said in the interview. I fight my fight until it's time to go toe-to-toe, and then I'm ready to go toe-to-toe. Is true. He does come to fight once he gets started.
And we're final seconds, round 6. Back at round 6, here's the low blow thrown by Bumphus. Also several kidney punches that caused the warning for the referee, Tony Perez. Scheduled for 15. It's for the WBA Junior Welterweight Championship. And Johnny Bumphus appears to be baffled by the style of the very patient Lorenzo Garcia. This is round 7. And Garcia put Bumphus down in the 4th round.
This is a fight for those students of people that like the fights in the 30s and 40s when there was a lot of art to it, and you just boxed away until you saw your opportunity, then went in, slugged, then and came back out and baffled. Right now, Johnny Bumphus is the baffled and confused fighter. He's trying to take charge. He's trying to let that superior height and boxing ability tell, but the kid comes back. Lorenzo Garcia comes back in flurries.
We are 1 minute in. Round 7, I see some blood on the cheek of Garcia. That's from the nose.
Comes from the nose. There's a trickle of blood on the nose. He's been eating a hard jab there. The last 2 or 3 rounds, Johnny has put in a hard jab. It is now beginning to flick over his white trunks.
And Bumphus beginning to get down to his style. And then caught by Garcia again.
But while he's getting down, he's also getting down in size. Instinctively, he comes down to the size, and that's what Duva and Benton tell him. Don't do that. Don't come down to that size. Now watch how he's crouching over. He's coming down to the size of Garcia.
Oh, there's the quick combination. Saw the speed of Bumphus, but he's tied up by Garcia.
All right, Brett. Don't point you that way.
Perez doing his usual excellent job, trying to keep this fight nice and clean. They are too clean. Oh, another good punch by Garcia. Sort of buckled the legs of Bumphus.
And we're less than a minute left. Round 7. Marv Albert with the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco, on NBC Sports World from Atlantic City.
And after giving away the first 2 rounds as a magnanimous gift, Lorenzo Garcia has pulled this fight relatively even. That big 10-8 round helped even things out.
And that's the 4th round when Bumphus was put down by Garcia. Scoring is on the 10-point must. And the 3 judges, Carlos Berrical from Panama, Cesar Ramos from Puerto Rico, Roji Kashiwagi of Japan. So an international flavor to this title fight. And we'll head to round 8.
Did you know you...
Very low-key flavor in the corner of Lorenzo Garcia. Guys just standing around talking about the fight. No stool utilized by Garcia.
They look like a team of surgeons discussing what they're going to cut on next. I mean, I've never seen guys so cool. On the other corner, it's pandemonium. Uduva's hollering at him, and Benton's trying to quietly tell him what to do. He is ahead unofficially on my scorecard is Johnny Bumphus, 67-66. At the risk of being monotonously repetitive, we do have international judges, and they love good boxers.
This is round 8, scheduled for 15. Johnny Bumphus, 21-0, 16 by knockout, but having a very difficult time with the smiling Lorenzo Garcia.
Garcia is trying to catch Perez's attention because when those looping body punches come in, he's so short, they're hitting him on the hip. and he's looking for a low blow warning from Perez. Big danger for Bumphus on those ropes because of the size, the small size, and the way the head is coming in on Lorenzo Garcia will result in a butt and a cut if he doesn't watch out. Bumphus should not get caught with his back to the ropes.
Garcia goes 5'7", built very compact. Bumphus, rangy 6-footer. And Bumphus did get caught on the ropes earlier with a lunging attempt by Garcia that did stun Bumphus. And it's been a very active fight for Tony Perez. Garcia will occasionally double up effectively on the left hand. That's time he walked into the Bumphus combination.
When they get in close, watch Lorenzo Garcia, the way he avoids all kind of elbows, punches, heads. He's extremely clever inside, and he uses his head pretty well himself. A lot of experience in Lorenzo Garcia here.
All right hand by Garcia. On target, Bumphus answering back. But a good right by Garcia.
It's the same kind of right that put him down if he had power.
Johnny Bumphus with the height and reach advantage on Lorenzo Garcia. But Bumphus having a very difficult time in what has to be a tough fight to score to this point. This is round 9. Bumphus was knocked down in the 4th round. Garcia stayed away over the first 2. Tony Perez has made his presence felt, a series of kidney punches, tie-ups that he has had to break up. We've seen flashes of the artistry of Bumphus, but for the most part, it's an even bout.
And for the most part, we've seen the frustration of Bumphus. As fine a fighter as he is, as slick as he is, as hard a puncher as he is, he cannot seem to find the key to this young man. Lorenzo Garcia just bipping and bopping when he has to, and then standing and fighting when he has to, just like he said he would.
For those of you who may have just tuned in, Lorenzo Garcia is a 27-year-old out of Argentina. He is the South American lightweight champion. A little look-in by Bumphus. Combination by Bumphus, but Garcia right back.
Watch the head of Lorenzo Garcia. To you, that was artistry to get out of that corner. I mean, he weaved and bobbed and spun and got out.
Tough to tell whether Bumphus has hurt Garcia because he gives you no inclination.
Now the tables are turned. Now it's Garcia having the better of it in the corner. And let's see how Johnny gets out of this.
Telling Garcia that you turned around. That's why you got hit on the back of the head.
Yeah, he's saying, don't jive me. You turned around and invited that one.
And we approach 30 seconds left in this 9th round.
Johnny doing much better the last 2 rounds in that he's been doing more of the fighting, although it's not the usual slick fighting that he likes. Those are good punches by Johnny Bumphus just then.
Four-wheeler match.
Back in the 9th round, here's Lorenzo Garcia landing with the right and the left. And that rocked Johnny Bumphus. This is round 10. Bumphus, the 23-year-old from Tacoma, Washington, now living in Clementon, New Jersey. 21-0, 16 by knockout. Considered to be the class of the 1980 Olympic trials. And having a very difficult time with Lorenzo Garcia. Not much was known about Garcia, but he was not highly regarded coming into this fight with a record of 53-1, 7 draws, and only 7 knockouts.
That's a problem with fighting most of your fights in Argentina. He only fought 2 outside of Argentina. That usually results in a fighter that comes out and is not very competent. But Argentina happens to be one of the fight capitals of the world, producing great major champions like Carlos Monzon and Galindez. When Tito Lectori tells me this guy can fight, I got to believe him. He's had 11 world champions. That last punch we saw on the replay was what could have cost Bumphus that round. He got rocked back on his heels and looked rocky. Therefore, since it was an even round, he could have lost that round.
Lorenzo Garcia did put Johnny Bumphus down in round 4. This bout did open in very lethargic style with much distance between the two fighters. We'll have more of the World Cup Bobsled Championship from Italy later on. We are live from Atlantic City, New Jersey. Marv Albert and the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco. We come up on a minute remaining in this 10th round. They're fighting for the WBA junior welterweight title. Good exchange, and again Garcia with the better blow. He got the right hand in on Bumphus.
I've never seen Bumphus so flustered and apparently not able to figure out the style of this cutie.
And Garcia coming on stronger in this 10th round. And hit in the back. And indicates his displeasure to the referee, Tony Perez.
A bit of play acting on the part of Lorenzo Garcia, but as they say, it can't hurt. Sooner or later, he will get hit a low blow, and then he'll have a legitimate case for Tony Perez.
Final seconds, 10th round. And this is round 11, and some concern in the corner of Johnny Bumphus. Lou Duba, George Penton saying, hey, you got to go out there and punch. You're not doing it.
He's right there.
And again, Garcia turned his back. And he's driven by Perez. It is a cutesy maneuver by Garcia when he's in trouble. He gets in his back.
You build up enough. It's like a coach hollering at the linemen and so forth. By the time he gets so intimidated, you start to look for things for him. He's getting to be the McEnroe of the match here. Score right now is 96-94, highly unofficial for Bumphus. But I do not hesitate to remind you, even once again, international judges love this kind of boxing that Lorenzo Garcia is doing, and with that big knockdown, this could be anything.
Bumphus blocked again. Bumphus is hurt. Now fighting his way out of it. His legs buckled a moment ago. Biggest win of the career of Lorenzo Garcia last June, upsetting Ablado Sacco, who at the time was 3rd ranked. And the only loss on the career record of Garcia took place 6 years ago, knocked out in the 5th round. A very effective combination by Bumphus, perhaps his best of the bout.
3 or 4 clean shots to the head. And did not seem to take the steam out of Garcia, but they were clean, beautiful shots. Again, 3 good shots.
Under a minute left in this round. We're in the 11th, scheduled for 15.
No question about it. Bumphus needs these kind of big rounds, especially at the end here. There's that Garcia right in front of him.
Bumphus going a little low also.
He's been hitting low this entire round, but Perez has not mentioned it.
But a good round for Bumphus. All right, Ray. Round 11. Down in the bout, round 4, the short right hand, here it is, by Lorenzo Garcia, stunning Johnny Bumphus. This is round 12. We're back live. Johnny Bumphus seems to slow down Lorenzo Garcia in the 11th round off an impressive combination. And Lou Duva very pleased between rounds because he wanted Bumphus to throw more punches.
It was his biggest round thus far and the one that had effect on Garcia.
Garcia right back after he took that uppercut from Bumphus. And Bumphus now landing on target.
Bumphus taking command last round and this round. He's taking the fire and the steam and the play away from Garcia.
And that is Lou Duva in the corner of Johnny Bumphus. He was very dissatisfied several rounds back with Garcia befuddling Bumphus, knocking him down, as you saw in the 4th round. Very frustrating afternoon for Bump City. This is for the WBA junior welterweight title that was vacated by Aaron Pryor. Bumphus landing with very hard blows. But Garcia back.
Garcia doesn't have any steam in his punches, whereas Bumphus is zinging and winging those punches in there.
Continues to give Garcia 2 looks. Southpaw and goes right hand. There's a low blow.
There has been a lot of low blows. No one has said anything, but there have been an awful lot of low blows on the part of Bumphus. Not intentional. He is so tall, and that bolo comes from so far under that they land right at the hip.
And without 30 seconds left in this 12th round. Bumphus putting together 2 excellent rounds against Lorenzo Garcia.
And since Bumphus can really bang, don't you start to wonder about what this guy's got in his jaw? My goodness, he's been hit with some hard combinations.
He has been knocked down only once in his career. We'll be right back. And this is round 13. Johnny Bumphus turning it around the last 2 rounds. After having many problems with Lorenzo Garcia, Garcia put Bumphus down in round 4. And Bumphus was told, shorten up on the punches, you're going too wide. That's what he's trying to do as he gets in close. Oh, left hand by Garcia got in.
This guy just doesn't quit trying. His corners told him, keep him short and keep him right in there. You can stun him with a punch. His nose has been bleeding through the whole thing. Doesn't seem to bother him. Another low blow by Bumphus. Bumphus, all of a sudden, that punching was zing and sting.
Nothing left. As we watch the exchanges between Garcia and Bumphus.
After 2 fierce rounds where it looked like Bumphus was going to overwhelm Garcia, he seems to have run out of steam this round. He's not got anything on his punches.
Just past the midway point, round 13. No effect with both looking to throw combinations, but it's been pity-pat on the part of both Garcia and Bumphus. Both very tired.
I can see why Garcia would be tired. He's been on the receiving end of a blistering attack for a concerted 6 minutes in the last 2 rounds.
And less than a minute left. Round 13, scheduled for 15. Garcia got caught, but did not have much on it.
He's getting desperate now. He's lunging. He lunged in there with an uppercut and got caught, but there wasn't anything on Bumphus' punch.
So very light punching. 13th round. We'll be back after these words. Well, Lorenzo Garcia, still standing, will not sit down on a stool.
According to where you feel. According to where you feel, baby.
Well, Johnny Bumphus wisely got his respite and comes out for round 14. We're scheduled for 15 for the WBA Junior Welterweight Championship. 2 very strong rounds by Bumphus. Rounds 11 and 12, but neither had much going in the last round, round 13.
And the way Garcia works, it just could be that he set his little trap for round 14 and 15, although he is in my... Oh, now that was a genuinely low blow. That's what he's been setting up for. Now he wants a rest. Tony says no rest. Tony Perez, referee, remind us that a low blow cannot win this fight.
But this will be a very close and difficult bout to score, and it is handled by the international judges Carlos Berrical of Panama, Cesar Ramos of Puerto Rico, and Roji Kashiwagi of Japan. That is if they go the distance. Scoring on the 10-point must system, which means an even round goes 10-10. Halfway through the 14th. Marv Albert, Bertie Pacheco from the Sands Casino and Hotel in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Bout began with both fighters staying away from each other, particularly Garcia not looking to get in close on Bumphus, and then Garcia surprised, landing the short right hand to put Bumphus down in the 4th round. It has been a chess game throughout. We've seen many low blows, series of kidney punches, most of the low blows thrown by Bumphus. And right now, two fighters who are very tired. Nothing landing there. A lot of movement, but nothing. Garcia going up on his toes, looking to get his legs back. And this will go to a 15th and final round.
Now, when he fires, he cuts for it and fire back to the body where you don't miss. Just get your hands off. Just keep getting them off. And punch from your chin now. You understand? Now you got to gather yourself together. Right? Don't get scared. We got to win this round, baby. Win it big. Now, don't let this guy out of hustle you by no means. Make that turn. Get that half move on. Get that half move on.
All right, Johnny Bumphus out. Lorenzo Garcia standing up between rounds for all 15 rounds. For the WBA Junior Welterweight Championship that was vacated by Aaron Fire. Johnny Bumphus, 23 years old, out of Tacoma, Washington. One of the stars of the 1980 U.S. Olympic trials, 21-0, 16 by knockout. Lorenzo Garcia, the veteran, 27 years old, from Argentina, 53-1, 7 draws, only 7 knockouts, yet he decked Bumphus in the 4th round, put him down. Another low blow by Bumphus. And it will cost.
Now Garcia can bounce around on those legs after standing between the whole fight and having such a gruelingly tough fight with Bumphus punching on him. I don't know. I've got Bumphus ahead. 135 to 100 and... Well, my arithmetic's off. Let me add it again.
Fight doctor carefully checking out his scorecard. Little arithmetic check. Scoring is on the 10-point plus system. Good right hand by Bumphus.
The Japanese computer's working now. It's 135 to 131 Bumphus, or 9-4-1s in rounds, so that it would seem that Garcia needs a knockout to win.
That's on the fight doctor scorecard.
Absolutely only on my scorecard. Although I do believe, even with the international judges, the overwhelming weight of the last few rounds have carried it for Johnny Bumphus, but we shall see.
And we're down to 1 minute left in the bout. All right, break. Garcia looking at his corner, looking for instruction. Down to 45 seconds. It has been a busy day for Tony Perez. That's the time left in the fight. 15th final round. And we're final seconds. Well, this, I feel, a tough one to call. That's it. They go the distance. We'll be back with the decision, also the conclusion of the World Cup bobsledding, right after we pause for these messages. We're set for the decision. Let's go to the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Sands Hotel and Casino here in Atlantic City, New Jersey, we have a unanimous decision. And the scoring by points as follows. Judge Cesar Ramos scores 144-142. Judge Carlos Berucal scores 146-143. And Judge Yoji Kashi Kashiwaji of Japan scores 144-142 for the new World Boxing Association Junior Welterweight Champion, Johnny Bumphus.
So Johnny Bumphus in a unanimous decision, very tough fight to score. Lorenzo Garcia's people are very disappointed, as you can imagine. Johnny Bumphus continuing his unbeaten record as a professional. He's now 22-0, but had a very tough time. In fact, was knocked down in the fourth round by Lorenzo Garcia. Controversial decision. Could understand the disappointment by those in the corner of Lorenzo Garcia. But Bumphus has won the title. Marv Albert, Bernie Pacheco saying so long from Atlantic City.
A promotional